Hey, good evening, everyone. Well, it's evening where it is in my time zone. It is 8 p.m. here on the East Coast in the US, Maryland. And for those of you who don't know me, I am Chris Coladonato, and I would like to welcome you to Color with Chris. So today, I'm just going to do some coloring and talk about unplugging and rest and busyness, all those things. You know, this started as a way for me to create my own container that would allow me to kind of sit down and color, but I thought I would invite others in because the evening for me is where I get trapped, and we're going to talk about that today, where I get trapped into my devices. I know I'm on devices now, but I get trapped in social media and some other things. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let's see. There we go. Oh, I was just checking on LinkedIn. So if you are joining, go ahead and say hello. Welcome. I'm going to go ahead and pick out some colors. If you feel like coloring, I would invite you to join me. Go ahead and pick out your colors. Pick out whatever it is that you're going to be doing. I'll show you what I'm going to be doing. Here we go. I am doing one of the pages from my coloring book. So if you did not know that about me, I created a coloring book. It launched in September of this year, and it's called Color Me Unplugged. And it is a way for you to slow down and to unplug from all the things, not just your devices, but unplug from busyness so that you can slow down your mind, your body, and your spirit and actually give them a break. So grab tea or other beverage or water, hang out and just sit and listen, or go ahead and color with me. All right. So let's see what I'm going to start with. So earlier today, I picked out a couple of colors, actually, when I was starting. And I tend to usually color in pinks, purples, and blues. But I think I'm going to throw a little orange in there today, too. I don't know. Not quite sure how it's going to end up. All right. So what I would love for you to do is just kind of settle in. Take a deep breath. And let's get coloring. There's no rhyme or reason how I color. I don't know about you, but I tend to just pick a color that calls to me, and then I start coloring. And then I go to another spot and color there. Again, that's just kind of how I roll. But I would love for you to go ahead and, oh, there we go. Let's go back here. There we go. I wanted to make sure I had the right camera on. So this is what I'm coloring today. I picked out blue, mulberry, kind of hard to see in this particular light. And then I also have a orange and a deeper blue, kind of like a teal almost. That's what I'm coloring with now to start with. So the first thing I had on my list, just some random topics, it kind of is what I alluded to earlier today, which is that digital boundaries. For me, having a boundary with my phone and social media in the morning is actually relatively easy. I don't pick up my phone or log online until after I have done my morning routine, which consists of a little bit of meditation and journaling, a little qigong, light movement. But in the evening, when I've had my devices in my hands all day long, I have a hard time letting them go. And they will be in my hands pretty much until I go to bed. Now, I don't scroll in bed, I don't do any of that, but I will sit in this chair that's behind me, or my favorite, I will second screen. I hadn't heard that term before, but second screening is when you are watching TV and then you have another screen up, another device like your phone or iPad or other device. So that's what I will tend to do. And not that there's anything bad or wrong with it, but for me, it was really messing with my sleep. So I have been really struggling with getting a good night's sleep. And I wanted to see if I could solve that by having better boundaries with my phone and iPad, because it's not just my phone. It is also my iPad as well. So one of the things I've started doing is giving them a bedtime. Now they're up late tonight. They're up late because we're doing this broadcast. But normally, there we go. Normally, I've been trying to put them to bed right before dinner, so that I don't pick them up until the next morning. It's worked kind of half of the time. Yeah, it's worked about half of the time. I'm thinking I need to change their bedtime so they actually go to bed just a smidge after dinner, like around 7:30-ish. And I try not to check social media after dinner, because then I'll just get spun up social media, email, anything like that. Even if it's good news, because what I tend to find is that my mind will start spiraling, not in a bad way. I actually will start to get lots of ideas and thoughts and insights. So what I'm trying to do is limit the external noise so that I don't get all of those, oh, I could try doing this, or this was a really good idea. So it's usually not because my racing thoughts are bad. They're usually because I'm just overstimulated. All right, so if you're coloring along, how's your coloring going? I decided to do 2 side by side. Again, there's no rhyme or reason for how I color. I just tend to do whatever calls to me. And I'm feeling like I need a different color. I'm looking on my desk here. I have a green. I'm not sure if this is the right green or not, but we're going to give it a whirl. I think here, something tells me the green wants to be down here, and maybe a darker green. I don't know. I love this green. I love these, but I feel like there needs to be something in there. There's no real rules when it comes to coloring, or at least not in my book. So feel free to color as you wish or just sit and hang out. Yeah, I like this, but I think it needs, actually, what about a really deep purple? I have this mulberry. As you can tell by looking around my room and my colors and my tattoos, oh, there's my Care Bear, I tend to like colors. So you can choose whatever colors you like when it's coloring, because again, there are no real rules. It's whatever you feel like doing. And I also was having a conversation with somebody not too long ago about leaving negative space. So she doesn't color everything in. She actually leaves some space. Maybe like leave this one and this one, and then she would start coloring around. So I'm actually going to try that. I'm going to skip. I'm going to have to do some more shading there. But yeah, I hadn't really done that before. And I like the idea. So anyways, back to bedtimes. So I'm curious, if you give your devices a bedtime. Sometimes they're like small children where they just throw a tantrum and they're just like, no, 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 I would like to stay. And I let them stay up. And then the next day, I didn't have a good night's sleep. And in the middle of the night, my mind is racing and thoughts are whirling around everywhere. So I realized that I do need to give them a bedtime. And I need to put better boundaries in place. I think this is the one I was using over here. And it's about making some systems. So Yes, my phone does stay in my bedroom. It is my main phone. I don't like not having a phone in there. I could put it in a drawer. I don't like that. I want it to be easy to access if I need it in the middle of the night. I do have it set up so that the only people that can ring through are when it turns off. It basically at 8:30 goes into sleep mode, and the only people that can ring through are family and emergency contacts. And I'm just not somebody who scrolls in bed. I'll read in bed, but that's about it. Oh, I colored over. Whoopsie. I don't know. There's just something a little bit, I want a little bit more depth. So I think I'm going to find a deeper blue. Not sure if this is it. No, I think that's the one I was coloring with. No. It's hard to tell in these lights. So that's what I'm doing. I am going to try this experiment, and I decided to do it now because it is darker here in the Northern Hemisphere as we head into winter. And I'm looking out my window now, and it's just, it's what, 8:11, and it's pitch black out. And it's easier for me to shut down devices, to kind of hunker in and not have my devices out, not be going out anywhere when it's this dark out. So that's why I decided to use winter as my time to put this habit in place where I put my devices away. They go to bed early. And I don't engage, again, whether it's social media, email, or even just looking random things up on the internet. I tend to find that just stimulates my brain, and it's just really hard to shut it down. My favorite, though, is I think I shut it down, and then in the middle of the night, it's all the worrying thoughts like, ooh, I could do this, this, and this. And yes, I have a notebook that is by the edge of my bed, but the problem is once I start writing and paying attention to these, they just start coming in more fast and furious. And it's really interesting. I find it easy to meditate in the morning. Okay, well, not always easy, but it's easier for me to concentrate and focus when I am meditating in the morning. But when I am in bed and it's the middle of the night and I try to use the tactics that I do, the noticing and letting go, it is really hard in the middle of the night. I don't know if anybody else experiences that. So I'm really trying to get better at that. I also have been using sleep stories and music to help me get back to sleep instead of doing what I used to do, which is read, because then I would just get sucked into the book. It's really easy for me to, I like that. It's really easy for me to get wrapped up in a book, even if it's a boring book. I've tried that tactic too. Like, ooh, why don't you try reading a boring book or something you've read before? But I still get wrapped up in it. So that's really what I'm trying. Digital boundaries. If you're watching this later, feel free to share in the comments, what is easier or harder for you when it comes to digital boundaries, morning or evening? For me, it's evening, which is why I am putting into place bedtimes for my devices. And I'm going to have to really hold myself to that. And I can tell a difference already. The days that I've been doing this, I've been getting a little bit better sleep, not 100%, but a little bit better sleep. I'm not waking up as much, but I am a work in progress like most of us humans. All right. Let me put a couple finishing touches on this, at least for tonight. And then I'm going to put the coloring book to bed because I don't need to be doing this anymore tonight. So again, if you're watching this later, I'd love to hear, where do you have a bigger challenge? Morning or evening when it comes to digital boundaries and devices. Or maybe it's the afternoon for you. I can set my phone down in my office and leave it. Not a problem. It really is the evening. And that's why I'm putting the boundaries in place, which is bedtimes for my devices. And I'll be sure to share how that goes. Before I wrap up today, I would love to share with you. So this is from one of the pages from my coloring book, Color Me Unplugged. Let me see if I can. Oh, this is my sample copy. I forgot I was using that particular one. But here, this is the web page. Let's see. Let's go to the Color Me Unplugged page. So I'll put a QR code up if you want to scan and visit, where you can learn more about the books, how they came to be. I do have the full-size print book. That's the one I'm coloring right now. It's 8 by 8.5 by 8.5, so it's square. I made it that way because I like to color that size. So you can buy that. But I also have pocket versions. They come in a pack of 3. And then I also have a digital download. I've got 1 volume. I'm going to be putting another volume out in the next couple of days, and I'll be doing a end of year and holiday sale on all of those as well. Plus, you can check out the process that I use to create my book. So I'll go ahead and put a QR code up. If you're interested, you can scan. That'll take you to, I think that takes you to Amazon. Yes, it does. It takes you to Amazon for the full-size print book. So thank you for joining me for Color with Chris. I'm going to be experimenting and doing this at different times until I find something that works for me, as well as something that works for others. So I tried it in the evening. Not sure that works for me, but I'm going to give it another try. So stay tuned. Again, if you have questions or comments, go ahead and leave them, and I'll be sure to check back on the replay to see what questions you have. Bye for now.